Hello, everyone. Welcome to the You+AI Vodcast. I'm your host, Ranga Sampath, and I have with me Dr. Gidi Stein. I just finished recording a podcast with him where we talked extensively about medical errors and how we can mitigate them with AI technology. I would really encourage you to hear that because Dr. Stein gives fascinating examples of how technology may be applied to save us from medical errors that you'd be surprised happen quite a lot. And definitely, we don't want to be at the end of it. So head out to you+AI.com or in your favorite podcast app to listen to the podcast episode. And now let's welcome Dr. Gidi Stein. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, and please introduce yourself to our audience.
So my name is Gidi Stein. I'm a practicing physician from Israel. An MD PhD. Also have a computational background. And in the last few years, I'm co-founder and CEO of a company named MedAware. We use artificial intelligence and advanced algorithms to identify and mitigate various types of medication-related risks at the point of care.
I see. Well, that's great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Stein. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Stein, for that introduction. Now we get into our fun segments. The first segment is called True or False. And here I will give you a statement, and you can tell us your opinion of whether it's true or false. Obviously, there's no right or wrong answer, it's just your perspective. So here we go. The reason why AI is not being adopted rapidly in healthcare is because people are not convinced of the technical worthiness of AI algorithms. True or false? And would you explain why?
I think that it's less about the technology and more about the clinical utility and the clinical relevance.
Hmm.
If it works and can actually save lives and mitigate risks, even if it was pen and paper, it will still be okay.
Hmm. Okay, great, great. Thanks for that perspective, Dr. Stein. So we get into our next fun segment. I call this fill in the blanks. And here I give you a statement. And at the place where I say dash dash, you can fill it. You can complete that sentence with one word, two words, or a phrase, whatever you think is appropriate. So here's your fill in the blanks. The big opportunity for AI in healthcare that is yet to be fully realized is dash.
Is intervening at the intimate encounter between the patient and clinician and making sure the patient has the right diagnosis, the right treatment plan, and is not in harm's way.
Mm. And you think this is not fully realized yet? We're not there yet.
No, we are very far from it.
Okay. So then
And we
that's
are,
why it's a big opportunity there.
yes, we are far from it because the, the whole diagnostic process is based on a conversation and on interview between the physician, the clinician, and the patient. And the diagnosis comes from knowing how to ask the right questions and how
Mm,
to interpret the answers in the right way.
mm,
And having an AI do that is extremely difficult because it relies on previous examples that may or may not be good ones. So, do you learn
mm,
from the good examples or from the bad examples?
mm. Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you. Next, we move on to our last segment. I call this a tweet saves the day. So here I give you a scenario and ask you to weigh in on it or tweet about it. Now, you may or may not be a Twitter person, but for the purposes of this segment, I would ask you to think of a tweet that you would send out, which is appropriate to the situation. So here we go. A tweet saves the day. Here's your scenario. The digital health ecosystem is booming. With the explosion of digital health apps, there are apps to monitor, evaluate, and diagnose most common conditions. That is, maybe it's respiratory illness or cardiac events, skin problems, diabetes management, hypertension, etc. Yet, people are beginning to complain that they now have to download, get familiar with, and use a variety of apps, each one of which is for a specific condition or at best a set of closely related conditions only. As a veteran entrepreneur and physician, you're asked to weigh in on the situation and suggest how this digital health ecosystem should evolve. What would you say? Or rather, what would you tweet?
So many apps to replace a simple conversation between a doctor and his patient.
Right? So do you think that's the right way to go, or we have to think differently about it?
I think that it's a part of an evolution. In that we see that like mushrooms, there are a lot of them after the rain, but most of them wither and die, and you're left only with a few. And I think that relying on these apps to replace the really the encounter or to facilitate the encounter between caregivers, between practitioners and clinicians and their patients is won't hold water for a long time.
Mm, mm,
And I think AI or these apps need to know their place in the world,
mm.
where they can help and where they can do damage. And we're not yet sure where that line crosses.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, thank you, Dr. Gidi Stein. That concludes our You+AI podcast. Again, I'd like to remind our users that I just finished a podcast recording with Dr. Gidi Stein. We talked about medical errors, the context of that, how relevant it is in our lives today, and what are the solutions, and how technology like AI can help really mitigate medical errors and save us as we get care in hospitals, clinics across the world. So, thank you so much, Giri Stein, for your time and for your insights.
Thank you for having me. Thanks so much.